As we grow up, we're constantly shaping who we become. But it's pretty clear that our childhoods leave a mark on us. Right from the beginning, we start forming these patterns in how we respond to situations and show ourselves to the world. It's like we're picking up the basics of navigating life right from the start, don't you think? Marriage and family counselors Dr. Milan and Kay Yurkovich have an interesting insight into how childhood affects us as we grow older. These counselors discovered that each of us has our own unique way of showing love, and our upbringing heavily shapes it. It's fascinating to see how our early experiences stick with us and affect how we handle relationships later. In this video, let's learn all about that and figure out our own love style. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell button so you won't miss any of our videos. Our love styles are shaped by our primary attachments, such as those formed in our childhood home and family. They basically sum up how we tend to interact with our romantic partners. These styles become more apparent in later relationships, such as marriage or parenting. It's like our default way of showing affection and dealing with the ups and downs of relationships. Understanding our love style allows us to heal from past wounds, address painful relational patterns, and rebuild our relationships in healthier ways. Once we know our love style, we can see how it shapes our relationships. It's kind of like unlocking a whole new level of self-awareness. Now, Dr. Milan and Kay Yurkovich have identified 5 main love styles. The first one is the pleasers. Typically, individuals with this style originate from households where one parent is either overly protective or consistently critical. During childhood, pleasers exert significant effort to maintain favor with their parents. They often tiptoe around to avoid negative reactions. When young, they usually experience a deficit in personal comfort, redirecting their attention and efforts toward comforting their reactive parent. This style is characterized by a strong aversion to conflict, as pleasers prioritize swift resolution or compliance to maintain harmony. Assertiveness poses a significant challenge for pleasers, often prompting them to resort to deceptive tactics or avoidance to evade uncomfortable conversations. As pleasers grow older, they develop a keen understanding of social interactions, consistently aiming to maintain the satisfaction of those in their circle. Yet, in times of stress or perceived letdowns, they may reach a tipping point and withdraw from relationships entirely. Moreover, pleasers often stretch themselves thin, prioritizing the needs of others while neglecting their well-being. Establishing and upholding healthy boundaries becomes imperative for nurturing lasting relationships. This entails a shift towards prioritizing personal emotions and aspirations over external demands. Striking this equilibrium is essential for pleasers seeking to foster rewarding connections. The second one is the victim. People who fall into the victim love style often come from homes filled with chaos. Growing up, they learn to survive by staying quiet and out of the way to avoid trouble. Because they face angry or violent parents, they get really good at hiding and keeping quiet from a young age. These kids find it hard to be themselves because it's painful, so they create imaginary worlds in their heads to help them cope with all the scary stuff happening around them every day. As they age, they tend to feel pretty bad about themselves and struggle with feeling anxious or sad. When they grow up, victims might end up with partners who are controlling, just like their parents were. They've learned to adapt to chaos by being flexible and doing whatever happens. Here's the thing. Even though they're used to chaos when things are calm, it makes them nervous because they always expect something bad to happen. To have good relationships, victims need to learn to like themselves and speak up for themselves when they need to, instead of letting their partners take advantage of them. The third one is the controller. People with the controller love style often come from homes where they don't feel safe or protected, so they learn to be tough and take care of themselves. They always want to be in charge because they're afraid of feeling vulnerable like they did when they were kids. Controllers believe they're in control when they avoid feeling scared, embarrassed, or helpless. Controllers don't see anger as a sign of weakness. Instead, they use it to stay in control. They can be really set in their ways, but sometimes they act unexpectedly. They don't like trying new things because it makes them feel weak and exposed. They prefer to handle problems alone and get things done their way. If things don't go as planned, they get angry. For controllers to have healthy, lasting relationships, they must learn to trust others, let go of control, and manage their anger. The fourth one is the vacillator. Those with the vacillator love style often grow up with a parent who's unpredictable. They quickly learn that their needs aren't the main focus for their parents. This leaves them with a deep fear of being left behind. Even when their parent tries to show them attention, vacillators might feel too upset or exhausted to accept it. As adults, they search for the consistent love they missed out on in childhood. They tend to idealize new relationships, but when reality falls short, they feel disappointed and doubtful. Vacillators are sensitive and perceptive, noticing even the smallest changes in others' behavior. They're quick to sense when someone is pulling away. This sensitivity can lead to feelings of being misunderstood and internal conflict in their relationships. For vacillators to foster healthy, long-lasting relationships, it's crucial for them to take things slowly and invest time in getting to know someone before making any major commitments. Rushing into relationships can often lead to disappointment and dissatisfaction. The last one is the avoider. People with the avoider love style typically come from households where expressions of affection are rare and strongly emphasize independence and self-sufficiency. During their formative years, avoiders often have to take care of their needs from a very young age. They learn to put their feelings and desires on the back burner as they navigate the challenges of receiving minimal comfort and support from their parents. As a result, avoiders tend to develop a preference for having their own space and rely heavily on logical reasoning and detachment rather than letting their emotions guide them. They may struggle to fully engage with their feelings or express them openly, fearing vulnerability or rejection. Avoiders also feel uneasy when confronted with others' intense mood swings or emotional outbursts, as they prefer stability and predictability in their interactions. To build healthy, lasting relationships, avoiders must overcome their reluctance to open up emotionally. They must learn to embrace vulnerability and express their feelings honestly, fostering deeper connections with their partners based on trust and authenticity. With all these love styles, which one are you? Do you agree with the definition it gives about you? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the notification button to stay updated on the latest.